Greetings humanity, and welcome once again to Channel Other Doc. I'm Jim, your friendly Lacuna GM. I use he, him pronouns, and this is our Invisible Sun campaign, The Edge of Paradox. The Edge of Paradox is is here. The name of I jumped ahead. Invisible Sun is a surreal slice of life game by Monte Cook Games. We're integrating the directed campaign, but most of this game happens spontaneously. This is a development session, like the others we've been doing this past week. So it's one-on-one, and we take care of downtime stuff and any other sort of incidental roleplay that may happen. It's a little bit more chill usually than the rest of it, but we do more of a deep dive on individual characters. And tonight we have Wilde. Hello.
Yes, hello. I'm Wilde Engineer. I'm Wilde Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. And I am playing Shantano, an itinerant empath of the Order of Apostate who splinters into fragments. They use they, them pronouns.
Excellent. Let me go ahead and I'm going to do a quick adjustment on the audio on my end so that hopefully that will help out just a little bit there. Okay, good. All right. So like we do with most games on this channel, we're going to be using the X card, the N card, and the O card. So if we hit something that's crossing a line for one of us, either of us can type an X in the Zoom video chat or anywhere else, hold up a card, make an X symbol, and we'll back up and do something else. If something happens that we're okay having in the game, but we don't want a graphic description of it, we can type an N in the Zoom chat and we'll fade to black on it or put it behind a veil, so it'll be there, but we won't go into detail. Finally, if we're exploring a topic or an area of roleplay that's particularly intense for us, but we want to keep going anyway, we can put an O in the chat to let us know we're okay and that we're all good to keep piling on the drama. Something else we can do is put an O with a question mark after it when we're moving into a difficult topic, or if we say or we do something and then think maybe that might have been a little too much. Then everyone else can respond to that again with an X, an N, or an O to let us know if we're still doing okay. We're also using the pause. If either of us needs to take some time, we can ask for a pause in the game while we discuss things or just take a break for as long as anybody needs. As a reminder, just a few content warnings. This game may contain body horror, surreal imagery, spiders, snakes, and references to memory loss, death, and existential crises. At any time, you can type !ISCW in the chat there, and that'll pop up. That'll also be coming through regularly. It's on a timer, so it'll be popping up from time to time. Also, please remember we have an open door policy, which means any of us and any of you can feel free to step away from this at any time if we need to. It's just a game, and mental health is always more important. So, everyone is back in Saturnine. It's been a while. Realistically speaking, in the timeline, it's been about a week. In the timeline of the... So the past year has been about a week in game time.
Right.
Time. But yeah, as has been established, the group figured out how to kind of tether the Eternal Party back to their home neighborhood, and they have done so. So now it is possible to travel back and forth between there and the Estervale area without too much trouble. They just have to go through the party. So we had some things we wanted to take care of. First off, right off the bat, just before I forget, you should be able to spend a bene to heal that one injury you got from the Void Demon, from the enemy of reason.
Okay.
And so that basically, yeah, I think that's physicality.
Yep.
And so you can, we can say, have you slept between now and then or anything like that, or has much time passed since you had that chat with the Void Demon?
Quite a bit of time. I mean, because I went to that turtle restaurant and
yeah, that's right.
Smoked with Igmathod.
Yeah.
All that.
So you went to the giant turtle-like being, and you got to eat. You got to meet with that group that Well, meet with them is an interesting. You had an encounter with those pirates that actually do have. There are some connections there actually that I have finally gone back and realized that I shall probably bring up soon. But I just basically encountered them. Then you went and talked to Igthamud, and then they brought you back, and then you were hanging out on a little boat for a little while, and then got back together with the group, and then they did everything in the I think they took care of everything up at the up with the party. There was a brief bout of tea with the mayor of Yestervale, and then you came back. So you will have had time at some point to rest and just spend a physicality, Benny, and then you're good. Which, I mean, if you just like sleep, then we'll be back the next day. So, and I mean there are things you can do in the there are like things you can spend. You've got like 4 refreshes you can type deals you can do in the meantime, but at the same time, if you don't want to sleep or if you don't want to rest for a long period of time, but in any case, we can consider taking care of. As far as that, and then getting that physicality Benny back. So there were some other things you wanted to deal with. So what is the first thing on the agenda?
I think now that we're back in Saturn, where we can go back to more of our own places, Shantano is going to focus on doing what they said they could do and try to figure out how they can find where the part that they gave to the void demon is.
Right.
So that way they can actually be able to track the void demon.
Right, and you wanted to build a spell for that, yeah? Mm-hmm. Okay. So, as it happens, under creating new magical practices, we turn in our hymnals in page 18 on the PDF, 16 in the physical book. So, at minimum, the Vizsla must spend 2 weeks of study and experimentation per level of the practice, 1 week for a minor magical practice. Each week of such experimentation requires 10 crystal orbs worth of special materials. Once research is complete, the Vizsla must attempt an intellect-based action with the level of the new practice as the challenge. Should this fail, the Vizsla must spend another research period equal to the amount of time spent originally, and the challenge is 1 level higher. And upon success, the Vizsla must spend acumen equal to the level of the practice, just as if they had studied an existing practice. And after you've done that 5 times, it becomes easier. So I guess the question then is to figure out the type of magical practice. This is a spell. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like when you say type, is how the spell's performed, or just
major versus minor is actually what I'm thinking right now. Because I just want to remember the difference between minor and major. I think spells are considered a major magical practice, but I just want to verify that real quick, just so that I can be certain. Because it's been a little while since I've looked at this. The basic quickly cast form of Vizsla magic. The various kinds of practices include. All right. Okay, that's right. So the difference between... Oh, okay. I just found a click. I switched to... I mentioned this to Wilde in the interim, but I switched to a different PDF program, and I just this moment found the click and drag on the pages. That's going to make everything. This is a great program. Okay. So
we can go through a character arc for this, actually, if we wanted to.
that is true. That is available. Depends on the amount of time that we're taking. As far as it goes, I don't know how much time. I mean, we can, work this out over the, we're going to work out the basics of how this is going to work either way, for the whole way. The creation character arc, is that what you're looking at?
Yeah. Well, that's just a suggestion in the book.
Yeah. If that's a thing you want to delve into for this.
Not necessarily. I have other arcs.
I feel like for this is just like, it feels like a piece of something else you're doing right now. We can certainly, you can certainly, if you want to go and start another character arc with that, you're perfectly welcome to. But I feel like for this feels like a part of a greater whole for me. But let me take a look here. Also, when creating a new magical practice, should the Vizsla double the amount of time and money, they can add +1 to the action. Consulting with other Vizsla might also modify the venture. GMs might increase the challenge by a level if the new practice is merely a slight variation of an existing one. -1 to the challenge, or entirely different from anything that exists, +1 to the challenge. I see. Let me go ahead and let's go ahead first and figure out what level this is, and then we'll kind of, I think, be able to see how much we're talking about, how much trouble we're talking about here. I shall now return to our friend, the trusty level of effects table, effects by level table. This is also, yeah, I should have looked at the there's a whole thing on divination, this is that kind of thing. Which I believe, if I recall correctly, divination is considered indigo magic. But let me see here. Yeah, minor magic is considered cantrips, charms, signs, and hexes. Okay, so this is not minor. So good to know. So let's see. So this is a thing which may take some time to finish. But let's you can at least get it started, and then we'll sort of see what it looks like. Let me find the section on divination in here real quick. Just so that I can so that I may see sort of what we're up against. Divination's an information gathering magic. Effects that provide answers typically allow you to ask a question and get an answer. So it's important because each time show up at all various levels. You must determine a level for the answer, and so yeah, this makes okay. All right. It's hard to use magic to learn information about it. Okay. It's an interesting question, really, because yeah, we're gonna have to figure out the level of the spell in and of itself, and right now this is just talking about the target of the spell, which we can get to. Let me check our level table here. So, telepathy at long range is already like level 5. This isn't exactly that. This is just knowing something. Divine the answer to one question is also level 5. Let me look at the level 4s real quick just to see what it's got. Level 3s and 4s. How accurate do you want this spell to be?
I mean, not necessarily like pinpoint location, but like general area. Like I would know if it moved from like one section to another, maybe.
So you want it to be like a spell that you cast that... You want it to... Is it a thing that you have to cast it every time you want to know where it is, or is it something that you cast once and there's like an ongoing effect?
It's interesting because depending on what I choose, you can tie into other things. How about an ongoing effect?
Okay. So I think that... As I look this over, as we're sort of, as you know, again, I'm looking over effects by level here. And I think so the one shot where is it question, right? Mm-hmm. Would be either level 4 or level 5. I'd be willing to, if it's not precise information, but say like, let's narrow this down. Sure. So let's say that let's first determine the nature of the information, and then we'll tack on the duration and all of that. First, with the answer to the question. So when the information you get, do you want it to give you there are a few different levels to this that we could go with, right?
Sure.
One way is it just gives you a direction, in which case you wouldn't know where the thing is. It would just point you in a direction, and you'd have to be under the same sun, or close enough to a transitional point that it can pick it up. That's one way. Another way is it could point you in the direction of the right sun, or just wherever. And when you get to the right one, then it would give you a direction, and that would be it. Another possible way of doing this would be where it doesn't give you a direction, but it tells you what sun or otherwise it's under. That's one bit of information. Further in, you have like what sun it's under and what region. You have what sun it's under, what region, and like what, if it's a settlement or just zeroing in on the region itself, say a city or a town.
Yeah, that's the one I was looking at.
Then what further in would be like what building is it in, that kind of deal.
Yeah.
So you want
no true direction.
Yeah.
But the sun, and then as I put into it, the more precise it gets.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So the base for it would just be what sun is it under, but then if you jack the level up using say like sorcery or sortilege. Let me remember how that works. I know it's in there. It's a very basic thing. Sortilege can add enhancement. Sell for other challenges to overcome. I think you can only use one at a time, though. If it's sortilege. Sorcery you have to spend for... yeah, but you can also spend sorcery to boost the venture. Okay. One additional sorcery. So, what I would recommend for this, unless you have a secret that I've forgotten about, that lets you spend more than one sorcery, one additional sorcery on a thing. I know you have to spend the number of points of sorcery to get the thing to happen.
Right.
But unless you have a secret that lets you spend more, I would recommend that the base spell give you sun and region, and then if you spend another sorcery on it, then you can get city, settlement, what have you. Something like that? Would that work for you?
Yeah, that works.
Okay. So, that being the case, the initial part, so this is where we start knocking it down, but we're going to start knocking it back up in a moment, and you'll see why. So, what I'm thinking, then, is I'm going to knock it down, because I think divine the answer to one question would give you, like, also what building is it in type deal. So I think what you'd be doing is knocking it from a 3 to a 4 in that area. So the base spell would be like a 3, I think. That'll just tell you what sun it's under and what region under that sun it is. And if it's not under a sun, say if it's out in the void somewhere, you can get sort of a vague... You might get a one-time vague direction, but it'll just sort of depend on... I have to study the void more. I don't know if there are regions in the void, but I have a feeling that would defeat the purpose of it being the void. The void, I don't think... I think I've even said this. The way we're interpreting the void, I don't think space happens in the same way. So, as it does under the suns. So, there's more leeway in getting around in the void anyway, I think, probably. As I continue to try to download the books into my brain, I have the physical books, but I have to download them into my brain as I read them, and I just sort of get them to stick in there somehow. I haven't gotten through teratology yet. I've been using it for reference, but I haven't gotten through it yet. But soon, perhaps soon. And also, it was only recently that I discovered what, that I found out what the Enchiridion of the path is, and it is wonderful. By the way, for anyone who wants more detail and flavor about all of the suns, it's a good book. Haven't read it all the way through yet, but I've been looking at it for reference. Anyway, that aside, I think that what we're gonna do. So the base spell is 3, okay?
Right.
And you can, as an enhancement, you can find more detailed information if you add a sorcery to your venture. So the base is 3. For what we've talked about so far. Now,
right.
Duration. How long do you want this spell to last before you have to cast it again? I can start in with categories if you like. And categories, to my mind, right now, as it stands, it is instantaneous, right?
Yeah.
Or perhaps, for like a scene-ish, right?
Yeah. I know at that exact moment.
Yeah.
Right now.
Now, if we want to boost up the base level some, we could increase that to. I I'm trying to base this off of the other spells that I'm remembering, and I'm trying to think if there are any spells that have like I think there's some that have like a rough number of hours duration, and then there are some that last until the sun rises, if I'm remembering correctly. So if you want, say, like a spell that lasts for, say, a rough number of hours, perhaps there's a there's a refresh target on it that we can also talk about. Which some of this I'm just sort of I'm just remembering pieces of what some other spells look like, right? And here, Jim, open the spell deck. That will help you, because then it will be in front of you. I'll do that. Whilst we are talking, I'm gonna go ahead and open the spell cards just so that I have some examples right in front of me. That'll probably help. Depletion. There we go. Depletion checks. So, say like to give it a, I don't know, depletion of 0, check each hour. And you want, the next one would be depletion of 0, check each day. Right? We want to make it like that. So that, then I think then the way that I would work with that is we would bump it up. If you want it for like, let's do it like that just to simplify things, I think. So depletion for each hour you'd have to bump it up one more. To the base would be bump it up to 4. And then I think for each day we would bump it back up to 5. And if you want beyond that, or like 0 depletion, something like that, where it's like it lasts until the next sunrise or whatever, regardless. Well, no, each day that would be more. There's still more of a chance. Yeah. We want more than that, and you'd have to bump it up further. How do we feel? How long do you want this to? What do you want to do with this?
I'm good with each hour.
Each hour? Okay, that seems reasonable to me. So the base we're looking at for this spell is 4. And then again, like I said, you can spend an additional sorcery if you want it to be able to cover narrow your zone here. And I think that works because then you can also refresh the spell at different times. Like if you get nearby, you could, start with a general thing and you're tracking it. And, during the time you can, I think that'll be good. And then when you actually get to whatever the area is, if you want to narrow it to the settlement, you can refresh the spell or cast it again and just, so the base cost is going to be, to cast the spell, is going to be 4 sorcery whenever you want to cast it. Let's get back over here to the page that I was at just a moment ago. Okay. So, at minimum, the Vizsla must spend 2 weeks of study and experimentation per level of the practice. So this is going to take 8 weeks total to finish the study on this spell, right? Each week of such experimentation requires 10 crystal orbs worth of special materials. That is a thing we can figure out. Out of curiosity, if you happen to have it recorded, we've been abstracting money more recently, and I'm fine with continuing to kind of do that, but I'm kind of curious because there will be more points where possibly you get more money. Do you have a record of how much you have right now?
Not really. The only thing I had was mostly from the beginning.
Okay.
Like my basic income and savings.
All right. So that's not too big a deal. What we can then figure out is, so you've got, okay, so you've got, I know that you got, there were mage coins handed out at some point, from various things. Not like a massive number of them. The group doesn't have a massive number of mage coins yet. There will be opportunities to gather more soon. But, let's just as far as eyeballing it here. Let me go ahead and open. Let me go back to. Let me find this real quick. Mage coin. Mage coins. Mage coin. Why is it not in there? It's got to be in there somewhere. I have been failed by the. Because I know it's going to be in there. I know it. It's near the end. Equipment. Goods. Currencies. Mage coins. It's all one word. That's why. Mage coin is one word, folks. Apparently I didn't realize that. It's great. It tells me what it is. How many orbs are in a mage coin? Let's see. Is there a conversion rate? People are rarely willing to trade mage coins for orbs. There's no standard exchange rate. Someone wealthy with orbs might not be able to get their hands on many mage coins because most of the people who have them usually are unwilling to give them up for anything other than magic. Okay. It's possible for someone without magic to get a few mage coins. It's at a rate of 1 mage coin for 1 or 2 gem orbs. And even then, such an exchange is rarely available for more than 1 or 2 mage coins. Okay. So that being the case, a gem orb is worth 100 crystal orbs. So I know you've got at least 1 mage coin, probably beyond the one that you have that's from from murder. Because there was a point when people got mage coins. I remember this. Everyone got like 1 or 2. From something. But possibly from Axon after the because he left his kit of stuff for folks after you restored the street. But I know you weren't there at that moment. Oh, we'll figure it out. Anyway, I think you're covered. Basically, is what I'm saying. I think you're covered for the expense of the research, of the experimentation. So you're good there. You can get the special materials for this. Once research is complete, the Vizsla must attempt an intellect-based action, which, we'll take care of at that point with the level of new practice. It's the challenge, so it'll be a level 4 challenge. And then there's other stuff. So here's what I'm going to ask at this point. So this is something that's I think you're going to be doing. So here's the question, I guess, what we need to get into here.
Right.
Is that as far as figuring out this spell to track a piece of yourself, right? That's basically what it does, right? Mm-hmm. How long would you reckon... We need to figure out how long your character might have been... Do you think your character might have been working on the spell already, or is this something that has only just occurred to you with the thing with the demon?
They would have been working on it since Shaw got mad at them, essentially. Because they made it up on the spot. And go, no, I can totally track them.
That's fair. That's completely fair. Okay, so that was with dealing with the aftermath of figuring out about the void demon. So this is something you're kind of starting on now. So it's gonna be a total of 8 weeks in the game universe by the time you have got it sorted out. Now, I have a feeling that much time's not going to pass immediately, because we're going to have various types of Armageddon happening, and such. But as time progresses, you're going to be working on it. So I think the question becomes: do you want to try to make the intellect action now, or so that we'll know where it's headed, or do you want to wait until the roughly 8 weeks have passed in game?
What's the difference between doing it now and then?
Doing it now, the upside is we kind of know what target we're trying to hit, or how, and we might apply that to how well the research is going. The downside, of course, is that we will have to remember later. Now, we still have to remember later also if we do it later, but if we do it later, you might have additional resources by that point. You might have additional things you've learned by that point, possibly depending on what you do character-wise. So there's pros and cons to either way.
Would this be the only roll, or would there be more rolls along the way?
Just one roll, unless you fail the roll, in which case then you'd have to go like another 8 weeks. I feel as though just structurally the way this is set up, we should probably wait until the time has passed. But I mean, I wanted to give you the option if you wanted to a little more leeway.
I mean, if the drawback is an additional 8 weeks, then it's probably best to wait for the initial 8 weeks to.
Okay. All right. So let us make a note that you are working on this while everything else is happening. I'm going to go ahead and put a note in my notes. I have so many notes that I'm starting to have now. And we will make that work. Okay, so Shantanu is working on a personal shard location spell. And then when it is done, you get to come up with a fancy name for it. Because one thing I've learned about spells in Invisible Sun is they all have to have fancy names that make it very difficult to figure out what the spell does when you just look at a list of the names. I'm not bitter. No. Anyway, so you'll get to do that when the time comes. We've got that set up. Good. Okay. So I think we've got that initially happening. Would you like me to well, I mean, this is basically a question of like divination components. So there are different things you can pick up from different places. And sort of sort it out as we go. There are a lot of places that have these things. I was just reading about the place where everybody goes shopping, in Satyrine. It is apparently it is like Fartown in that it is in its own little dimensional space. But it's this whole thing. It's the Celestial Bazaar. It's got all of these stalls throughout it. It's freaking huge. So, if anything, you should be able to get stuff there if you need it, if not more locally.
That's how I went to something like that. That's where he meant death. Or, yeah, or murder.
Yeah, murder. Yeah. And you were lucky enough that there was a World's Fair going on. As far as so starting to look through that, yeah, I mean, this is just research components. I think you'll be fine. Also, I presume, are there any particular areas where you think to, as far as areas of research? I mean, you've got access to the curriculum, so I mean, you can grab stuff from there if you need it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's.
But areas of research, you mean for the spell? Or?
Yeah, for the spell.
What are the areas? Where can I find it?
Well, I mean, just sort of what I was thinking about is it's a two. Also, so like when you're starting your study in experimentation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that means probably looking at magical tomes or looking at just information on divination in general, and about personal divination. You might actually go back and try to find your old notes if you can about tracing the soul, that kind of thing. If you've got any stuff left on you.
Is there anything that's more of like a personal reflection kind of thing, where it's just kind of like, centering in on myself? And
I'll tell you what, I'm going to draw a card now, so we can get a bit of flavor here. Why do I keep drawing this card? I don't understand why this keeps happening, but it does. All right. So, I've drawn the devil.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's appropriate, all things considered.
It kind of is, yes, given the situation. There was a somewhat Faustian bargain involved in the first place. So I think that as a reminder, as for those as we need to, I'm not going to read out the whole thing because I keep drawing this. But let me go ahead and just go to it there. Temptation, lies, charm, persuasion, words. So I think that a book that you find that is available is a kind of a version of the art of the deal, or how to make friends and influence people, but the target is not other people so much as yourself. So how to make friends with and influence yourself. And it is a magical tome. It's, it's about, figuring out, here, let me add it to the list of books. It's a book about self-reflection, but also getting yourself to either chide or trick yourself into doing the things, your soul into doing what you want it to do.
Right.
Basically. I think that's probably going to be the flavor of the book that you're able to get hold of. So, well, I'll give you a choice, right? It can either be that kind of book, or you can get a different book on self-reflection that's more, shall we say that, that's less, slightly less dangerous. But the means of getting it would involve making a deal with somebody. So I'll let you choose. Which of those do you want to do?
So it's either looking on myself or making a deal with somebody.
So it's either so you're either getting this out of a so it's either you get the information out of a slightly treacherous book, or you get the book from a slightly treacherous person.
Slightly treacherous book. And if you want, we can tie it to one of my arcs.
Oh, okay. What are we looking at?
Yes.
Wait, we're looking at the Fall from Grace, aren't we? or what? No, I'm sorry. What are we looking at?
It can either be the Fall from Grace, or it could be the splintering leads to my physical corruption.
Let me see. What's splintering leading to physical? What's that called? What's the name of that arc?
That's the cleanse arc. Which
Cleanse.
to start the arc out, something needs to be. Let me find it. Where was it? The cleanse. Something has been contaminated, probably by foul magic.
Ah. Well, yes, it has.
This could be a curse, a possession, an infestation, or something else.
Yes, there's a piece of a void demon in you. I think we've got a decent case for that.
Technically, I don't have a piece of the void demon in me, but the spell.
Didn't you swap pieces with the
right? But what the piece I swapped, I gave to Igthamon. But
you grabbed a second piece, I remember, but maybe you didn't put it in.
No, because I swapped the horn.
You grabbed a second piece as they were transforming. It hurt your hand, and so you put it in your pocket. I remember that. You have a second piece. I don't know if you've incorporated it.
Did I? Oh, okay. Well, if that's the case, then we could use that.
Yeah, I remember you picked up a second piece that you held on to. A shard. After, when the first time they
the first time they
splintered.
Shattered.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, shut up.
I'm sure everything... I'm sure it'll be fine.
Why do I make the decisions I make?
Why? Heavens knows. It's, drama. But yes, let's see, there's analyzing the threat, which is I guess what we're working toward at this point. If we want to do that. So we could definitely tie it to that. We could also tie it to the Fall from Grace if we want. There are many steps along that I think are possible. What are we feeling?
I'm feeling like as a part of making the spell, I might need to combine with the shard I took. Yeah.
Like, this will... Well, yeah, I can see it as like you get the book and you're like, well, the first thing to know is to find the void within yourself. It's like, well, here it is. Okay. This'll home in on it. That's something you could totally do if you want.
I don't know if I want it, but I think it's something I need to do.
Well,
okay.
If it's
as a player, yes, I do want it.
Yeah, so there we go.
As a character, I don't know.
It is a difficult decision, I would imagine, for Sean to know. But I will say, here's an idea. Let's say that because this is the devil card, let's say this will knock 2 weeks off of your research and experimentation time.
Oh, jeez.
If you do it. Because there must be temptation involved in doing it.
It's for me.
So you could get this done in only 6 weeks instead of 8.
I'm making an unknown deal with the devil or the demon.
All you have to do is put a piece of a void demon in you. I'm sure it'll be fine.
What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? So is Shantano going to do that, do we think?
Oh, yeah. It also fits into their fall from grace.
That's good. Yes. Yes. Okay. So,
Once
yes.
again, I'm making big decisions and not employing the group first, as I've been told I should probably do.
All right. So, further descent. So, this is a step of further descent in your fall from grace. So, and effects will be felt soon. Let's give you an acumen for that.
Sure.
And this will be good. This will be really good. This will be nice. I think this will work out very nicely. Okay. All right. Let me go ahead and make sure I've got that there. Okay, good. Good. Excellent.
How many acumen should we have roughly had at this point? Do we have an idea, or is this from what I've tracked?
So I remember there was a point where I told folks about acumen.
Mm-hmm.
However, if you will give me a moment, I will add some things. I don't know how many you have from your arcs right now.
Yeah, I have been keeping track of
Yeah. If you've been keeping track of your arcs, I can tell you how much you'd have otherwise.
According to my track, I should have earned a total of about 37.
Okay. 37.
Assuming, total, I think.
Total. Yeah. Well, I can tell you that what I have here for the party, for acumen that I have awarded the party, the last time I did an audit, there were 19, and then after that we had a number of sessions. So, here, I'll do another audit now, so that I can figure it out. Just going to add it up from the point of the last audit. So that's another 9. So there should be about 28 from just from what I have awarded for finishing out overall things.
Right. Okay.
And so and you said that you had a recorded total of, what was it, 37?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So does that sound right, that you've gotten 9 from personal arcs? Is that?
Let's see. I'm at step 3 with my bond with murder. I'm at the travel step for the collapsing conundrum, and I'm now at the further descent from fall from grace. So here. That's about there. Maybe 1 or 2 off. I'm not sure.
Let me, yeah. If you want, I'll take a quick look at what I have. If you want to remind me real quick. Hang on, sorry. Let me go over here. PC arcs. Okay. Fall from grace. Cleanse. What are your other arcs?
Develop a bond.
Develop a bond.
With murder.
And
explore. Collapsing Conundrum. And
Explore.
Mm-hmm.
So you have Develop a Bond, Explore, Fall from Grace, and Cleanse. Those are your arcs right now, is that right?
Yes.
Okay, let me go ahead then and flip to the right page here. Exciting page flipping, folks. Let's see. So Develop a Bond. Where did you say you are on Develop a Bond?
Said step 3.
Building a relationship?
Yeah.
Okay. So you've got at least 4 under Developing a Bond. 4 acumen from that. How many things have you done to let's see, so...
For the Explore, I'm at the travel step, which is 1, 2, 3 acumen.
Yeah.
7.
Yeah, so you had 1, 2, 3. What was the plan for what was the area you wanted to explore, just so that
The Collapsing Conundrum.
the Collapsing Conundrum. Okay, all right. So yeah, you've okay, so you've got that. Yeah, so you've got 3. And so that's 7, and then we had Fall from Grace. You started, and so 8 for the opening descent. And did you also... Had you done further descent prior to this?
No.
Okay, so you just did further descent.
Right.
So that's 9. So yeah, that actually does come out to... that does come out to 37. If that's what we were looking at, right? And you haven't actually gotten anything on... We haven't really started Cleanse yet, is that right?
Oh, well, except for me paying to acquire it.
Paying to... Well, sure, obviously. And then I figure... You've got it all lined up so that you'll be able to start your Cleanse whenever you... whenever you like. I feel as though, thematically... It's interesting, right? Because you could finish Fall from Grace before you start the Cleanse. And that would work, because it's, and then start coming back up again. Or, another interesting way to go about it would be to start the Cleanse after you've already, before you finish Falling from Grace, because then there's like, because there is some interesting point sometimes, and I don't know if this gets a little too fiddly as far as it goes, but it's there is, in some narratives I've seen, it's an interesting point where it's like you've fallen a certain point and you haven't finished falling yet, but you're like, oh crap. What have I done?
Right.
I am no longer corrupted, but I have to continue this, or it's going to harm other people, that kind of thing. So it depends kind of, I guess, on which way you want to take it. Either way would work.
Yeah.
So then, obviously, we'll figure it out as we go. But do remind me when you start on doing some of these things, so that way we can make sure you're getting the acumen. But yeah, that sounds good.
Okay.
I think were there other things that you wanted to sort out, or for this? Do you think, are we good, or was there something else?
I was wondering, like, what if maybe I'm possibly giving you ideas of tying in the spell to, I don't know, possible RP that might happen later, or actions that could happen in the background in game.
Okay.
Yeah, like let me take a look at the. Let's see. Oh, perfect. Like continuing in the Fall from Grace, as a part of figuring out the spell, or just possibly even completing the Fall from Grace, going during the time it takes me to learn the spell.
Oh, okay. So you want to get started on... If you want to get started on that, I can certainly help you there.
Yeah. Because I'm thinking that either probably initially unbeknownst to me, learning the spell grants a connection to the void demon in which they're able to influence me. And considering that they are the enemy of reason.
Okay. Let's see. So, this is a thing that will be ongoing, obviously, as you are doing your research. Mm-hmm. This starts with implanting, I think, the piece of the enemy of reason into you. So, let's draw another card to see what sort of shape some of this is going to take. I have a thought. Let me see how this lines up. I'm gonna draw another card. As soon as I remember which tab it's on. There we go. Ooh, okay. Okay. This is number 8. If I can just get at it. Let me go here. It's card 8. All right. This is the mysterious rune that I have drawn. And its meanings are magic, mystery, and wordless communication. We've had this card relatively recently. Words are spells and spells are words. Runes encode words. They hide them in plain sight, store them. If you can decipher the rune, you gain its meaning and thus its power. Those who scribe a rune, or even those who hold the book or other object the rune marks, are its masters. The Secrets family holds the mystery of a rune along with all its hidden meanings. It is not an unknowable truth, but a secret that can be learned. But it's likely a difficult and dangerous one. Yeah. Generally, this is considered a card of good fortune by Vizlion, bad fortune by nuns. There's mystery afoot. There's something important that can be discovered if the person in question looks for it. Specifically, looking for something in a book is a good idea after this card is turned. Okay. So you're already going to get, let's see, fall from, and then let me hop back over to fall from grace real quick, just so that I can make sure I'm looking at the right thing there, so we can tee this up appropriately. Just things get worse. Okay. We can have many steps of further descent until you're ready to start lashing out. And that's up to you as to when that starts. But for a moment, as you sort of do this and you're sort of setting up your connections, you're figuring out, you're trying to find the separation between, the portion of your soul that would be void-like, and the portion of your soul that would be sun-like, because it's like, it's this thing where it's like, okay, well, other people have, I think this avenue occurs to you, right? Where other people had been applying your model of the soul to the Path of Suns. Much like, the point of the Path of Suns, in a way, is it's also supposed to kind of represent the soul. That's not something you necessarily did yourself, but it's like, okay, this is a way to do this. And I think this is a representation of you're starting to tap into that and realizing, okay, let's see actually what happens when I do this. And try to see what it's gaining them, and that might give me some insight into what the hell is going on with it, this thing that these other powerful forces have been dancing around, telling you, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, in so doing, you sort of have placed this bit of this shard into yourself. And I think that what you're going to see, first of all, is that you're going to start seeing a few connections between some things. There is some kind of first of all, you think there is some kind of a distractive plan going on with entities around from the void around the different suns. You know that the return of the enemy of reason is going to cause some waves, and they're going to be seeking ways to increase the power of the dark. Something that you're realizing you might want to look into, research-wise, if you want to learn more, is what the Dark Servants are doing. It just sort of, you feel this mild connection spark for a moment. And it's not exactly like you can hear Segildrak's thoughts. It's not that exactly. But you get kind of an understanding of very rough shapes of things that they are or were connected to. And you're realizing you're not sure if it's... You feel like there is a connection of some kind to, and you're not sure if it's either because you've been hearing more recently, obviously from your companions, that, and from the situation, you were there for a lot of this.
Mm-hmm.
There is this sort of strange struggle going on between the Vespertine and the Church of Midnight, where you know that there is at least one agent of the Vespertine that has tried to infiltrate the Church of Midnight. So you don't know who is directing this exactly. But recent movements, the Vespertine are very hidden, but if you can find evidence of their movements, that's one thing. If you can find evidence of movements of the Church of Midnight, that might give you something else. And that might tell you more about the Enemy of Reason's agenda. Also, a thought occurs to you. Perhaps it comes from the void. Perhaps it comes from you. We're not sure. There could be an opportunity for power. A little bit. To tap into some additional power. You've already been able to just shortcut a couple of weeks. You've lopped a couple of weeks off your research time. Perhaps there's more to be learned that could accelerate things even more. Who knows? Who knows what you could learn? And this, I think, is the impressions that you get. It's like you, for a brief moment, for a little while, it's like, I imagine if this were like on TV or something, you would see this, there'd be this like haze that Shantano is in for a little bit as they're aligning to things and they're trying to assimilate this piece of the dark, assimilate this piece of this void demon. there are resources that are out there, and you feel them, that are probably just very tentatively. It's not like you've got a direct, absolute. It's this thing right over there, but you know that there are things you can look into that will give you more insight. And then it's obvious, not like it's like you go on you get on a laudanum high for a few minutes and then you come back down. It's kind of like that, I think. I think probably also I've just demonstrated how little I know about drugs, but I'm just remembering that probably laudanum high is a contradiction in terms. I understand that. Because it's probably the other way. But I think you take my meaning.
Yes.
So, yeah. This is a thing. There are possibilities. There are things to be learned. Also, at the very least, through your connections, you know this already. You know where the collapsing conundrum is going to start. So you know they're going to be doing something around the night side of the gold. You'll also remember, which I'm just going to let me quickly let me get this here. Let me find this real quick. Where did it go? Oh, it's not right there. Yeah, there is. There's a force in there that wants to do it. Where's the Where is it? It's not there. All right, that's fine. I'm looking for the description that I put down involving the. This is involving the pirates. And it's not on the page I was expecting in my notes, so I shall look under NPCs because that'll be easier. That there was when you that group of pirates that you encountered is, you remember, one of the things they're trying to kind of do is hold back the collapsing conundrum. You remember that's something that's part of their business because they are because they're trying to, because they're sort of in opposition to whatever group it is that's also in the night side of the gold, trying to bring it about, you think. And you remember that there was a Vizsla who was leading them when you ran into them first at Isabel's party. And that Vizsla was given over to the authorities. And that Vizsla's name is Paris.
So led by Paris.
Yeah. Although right now, it was led by Paris. It's currently led again by an Elderbrand that you met named Dak more recently. Because you remember you met Dak in the gold at that restaurant. So Dak and the rest of them are probably there in the gold somewhere. You skipped out on your meeting with them, but they're there somewhere. And but Paris is probably still somewhere here. I think the question becomes which authorities came for Paris, because this is a thing that happened in an extra dimensional space, and so I think the authorities that probably would have happened, since you're in an unincorporated neighborhood, it would have either been. I know I'm extrapolating a lot here, and just assuming things you may or may not want to do, but I often think and talk at the same time, but so it would either be held by the Tha, or which or just work the city authorities, or it would be someone that's someone put together by one of the groups in your neighborhood. Which, I mean, the closest thing the neighborhood has to a gerund is Karen. So neither option is good.
Right.
But anyway, those are things that you are remembering from these, as you're trying to suss out some connections. Sorry, I know that was that too much to throw at once? I know that's a lot.
No, it gives me some things to work with.
Yeah, and you sort of, as this whole thing is happening, you're sort of in this little haze. You have these visions as you think of these things, of these people and places, and all like, yes. It's like you see, Shantano sees the equations in front of them for a few minutes. they're looking at everything.
Right.
Okay. So, and I guess then, was there anything else you wanted to tackle at this point? Anything further?
No, I think that's what I wanted to focus on. Try and get some of the things started. I'm not sure if this was something that needs game time, but there's a way to reset my like ephemera and stuff.
That is the thing that we need to do with everyone very soon. And I need to go through and select or pull out some ephemera, or randomly select one way or the other. Get more ephemera for folks. How far down? How many ephemera do you currently? What's your how many did you have, and how many do you have now? I guess. What's your current limit? And
limit of 3, and I've used them all.
You've used them all. Okay, so we need to reset your ephemera, which is, I think that's. I need to go back and double check the how to do. It's a little weird because the parts from the directed campaign that we have, there are points where, if you hit certain things in the directed campaign, then you get these, I guess, treasure drops of things that include ephemera. But at the same time, we're doing more than is in the directed campaign. So, of course, there should be other opportunities. And I don't want to just sit there and only give things out at those times because while it can be a lot, at the same time, it's just like, I don't want it to become a desert. But yeah, you've got none right now. So we need to do something. I think that what I will do is I'll go ahead and I'll take a little time when sometime soon to figure out kind of the ephemera situation for folks. So like you've got. So I mean, incantations are things you can kind of just sort of meditate for and get them, right? So
I think so.
That's a thing we could take care of probably right now if you want one of those. If you want items, then we can work that out.
Even the incantations are random, right?
Yeah, they are unless they become conation incantations, at which point you which is a function of abilities that people can get and through their usually a forte, I think, or through other abilities they can and purchase through XP, what have you.
I guess I could do one.
You can get an acquiescent incantation right now if you want.
Sure, I can do just one incantation and 2 items.
Okay. Yeah. And the thing is, you'll have an opportunity probably to pick up ephemera. Also, especially if you're going like to the market and stuff like that, then they'll be selling crap there too. Oh, yeah. But we'll sort of see if folks want to do that as like a group activity. But if not, we can come up with stuff. Okay. Incantation. Typically, Vizsla must have previously gained the incantation as an acquiescent, but gained as a conation. Blah blah blah. Okay. So I need to. So it says here I need to pick out one. So I still need to actually look at it. So I can't actually do it right this second.
Okay.
Unless I just like. randomly do it.
Then.
But let me look at the listing here.
And totally random is fine with me.
You can go totally random. What level of let me see. When PCs meditate together, use a random card to determine what they get. Okay. Let's see. I have things that list them up to like level thing. Let's go for what's the last level of something you had?
What do you mean?
Of an ephemera. You remember? Roughly?
I think the mask one is probably the highest level. When it changes gives you a mask of.
There was a mask.
Yeah, that lasts for like a full day, I think.
You remember if it was? Let me see. Wait, where's the? Yeah, okay. So, mask of eyes.
Mm-mm.
Wasn't Mask of Eyes, was it?
No.
It's a different mask. Well, you know what? It was probably one of the things from the thing. All right, I'm gonna. Let's go 1 through 7. just why not?
Mm-hmm.
Why not, indeed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And they're actually the weird thing is there are more of these the further up we get. So let's see. Stand by. I'm going to use a spreadsheet in a terrifying way, and this will hopefully help us. I just need to grab hold of this. Yeah, of course it'll be like this. All right, fine. Let me see if it'll do this for me in the way that I would like to. Close. I can still make that work. Okay, good. I need a number. Just need a number I can use, and I'll have it momentarily. As I copy and paste in a terrifying fashion. I'm gonna go 1 through 6. At least I'll probably make it easier. I think 7 starts getting ridiculous. But you never know. Probably have those in. Alright.
Well, that's what it is. Faces only torment the bereft.
Faces only torment the bereft?
It was level... Oh, you gave me... level 3 was the highest I had.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's just go up through 6. Let's go up through 6. Or have a chance of going up through 6. It's gonna be random. I know this is probably riveting as we sit here watching me copy and paste. I will have it shortly. Okay. Number I am chopping in half is 282. So hang on. So it's 141. Okay, I'm gonna roll a 141 sided die. So per Zachi. Let's see. 93. It's a high number. That's good. Okay. So 93 times 2 is 186, and line 186 is... Quenching thirst in an empty sea. now we delve into the incantations to find out what that is. It's a refresh. Okay, it's a level 5, quenching thirst in an empty sea. All right. So you'll meditate for a while, and what you gain is this is level 5. It's a level 5 incantation you can cast at any point. It's an invisible incantation that refreshes your sorcery pool. It's a one shot. One shot refresh. So you now have that. So at some point, if you're casting spells right and left and you need more, you can just burn that incantation. And you'll be able to cast more.
Nice.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Okay, so was there anything else you wanted to take care of?
No, that was it.
Awesome. Excellent. All right. Well, I think we've got a decent amount of stuff accomplished as we're sort of been sorting out things and where you're headed and
Oh,
yeah. various ideas, and so I think this is going to be very cool. As we continue forward, do occasionally feel free to remind me as we're going forward, as time passes in game, that you're continuing to work on this, so that I can keep that in my noggin, and we'll get going. Okay, so yeah.
And if you think the void demon would try to influence me in any specific way or anything, feel free to let me know.
Well, yes. You're being urged right now to look into things, so I don't know. Is that the Void Demon's influence? I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll have to see what happens. But yes, I'll definitely let you know when that's happening. Probably will depend on the draw of the cards. We'll see how things go. But yes, that's always a delightful thing that might happen. Well, then it is time, I think, for our outros. So feel free to tell folks where they can find you and any final thoughts, if you had any final thoughts about the session or whatnot, or just the direction of the campaign or anything.
All right. Yes, hello all. I'm Wilde Engineer at Wilde Engineer on Twitch and Twitter. This is currently my only game right now, so yeah, this is where you can catch me. Yeah, actually, this is a really good development session. I like the path that Shantano's going on. And it's definitely Shantano to a T. Making all the wrong decisions and yet somehow the right ones.
It's gonna be so good. And also so terrible. I can't wait. Excellent.
It's my Agent of Chaos character.
Absolutely. All right, and once again, I'm Jim Ryan. You can find me at OtherDoc on both Twitch and Twitter. My website is jimyesthatjim.com, where you can find my Geek Observation podcast and links to my various other podcasts, audio dramas, writings, and such. I have links down below to my website, Twitter, YouTube channel, and various other things. Yes, there are no wrong decisions, just more exciting ones, as has been properly pointed out. Yes. Next place you'll be able to see me tomorrow night. It's already, good lord, it's almost Friday. So tomorrow night is we're starting up a Dresden Files campaign over on Wandering Society on Simon's channel. So I'm going to be over there. We've been, I say starting up. We've been playing for a little while offline, off stream, and we've had a couple of one-shot specials that have happened. And now we're starting it as a regular campaign over there, so feel free to tune into that tomorrow night. And then Saturday night, we'll be back here, and we'll be doing another development session as we're getting everyone's individual development sessions out of the way before we return to the main campaign. And I believe that Djinnaya will be with us to do that. And so we find out what Shaw is getting up to now that we are back in Satyrine. And so I'm looking forward to that as well. So lots of gears turn, and we get to see what happens. So very much looking forward to that. And of course, as I've been mentioning, in February there's going to be a short campaign that I'm starting up on this channel on Wednesday nights, and it's going to be in Rosette Diceless, kind of a sort of a paranormal espionage thing I've been trying to get at for quite a while. So, and I'll talk more about that as we get closer. Much looking forward to getting to that. So let's see. So the next time we have a full session group, it's been asked. So let's see. This Saturday we are doing, which is the 22nd. We're having, we're having Shah's session. Then we're going to try to do during the week. We're going to try to see if we can get Aroshka in. Depends on Arras's schedule. So if we're able to, if there's time, my week next week is going to be a little tight because I've also got some playtesting I have going on about the first thing I've been working on. But if we can get Arras in during the week, then we'll do something during the week. If not, it'll be that Saturday. So with any luck, I'm hoping we come back on the 29th with the regular Invisible Sun sessions. If not, it's like if not, it'll be then we'll do Arras's session that day if we can't fit anything in between then, between now and then, and we'll end up coming back on the first Saturday in February, which is the 5th. So it'll either be the 29th or the 5th when we get back to our regular Invisible Sun sessions. So soon. Just a little bit longer to get everyone's individual stuff sorted out. So I'm definitely looking forward to it because there are more things happening. So always want to see what avenues folks are taking with their characters. And always, like I've said, this is the development sessions are one of my favorite things to do. But I do also want to see what happens. Part of that is because I want to see what happens after people have development sessions and they collide back together. It's always fun. So definitely looking forward to that. And that is about it for now. So I thank you all very much for watching. Take care, and we will catch you next time. Farewell.